our channel. I'm Dot.
And it's your boy Nate.
And we are the Fire Love Podcast. So I really want to check in with you. There's been a lot that's going on. So you good?
No.
You know what? That was a real answer. Yeah. I really felt you. You're not doing okay?
Nah, I'm not feeling it for the past week or so. I'm definitely not feeling it, y'all. So I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. I've been feeling a little down. Energy been completely like out of place. I'm not focused. I lost my drive. I'm sleeping a lot. And I think a part of it has to do with this whole, we fighting for justice, as we all know. George Floyd passed, a few other people passed.
I know. Somebody passed away today.
Yeah.
In Atlanta.
Yeah, so my energy is totally down, and I just need to keep my prayers up and remind myself that every day is a struggle, no matter how big and powerful or in a position you think you are. As a black man, we're gonna always go through a struggle, so I just hope that all my brothers out there that are going through this, feeling that I'm feeling right now, just to understand that, we got each other, we know what it is, and we just gotta, just put our heads up and keep going.
Thank you for being so honest, babe. That was real. So, yeah. I mean, we definitely have to kick it off with the transparency of stuff is difficult right now. But
yeah.
At the top of every single podcast episode, we always play a game of flames, flicker, smoke. That's when we play a fun game with either a couple or a topic, and we rate it.
Yeah.
Flames being hot fire, I think it's the stuff, all the way to smoke to being no, absolutely not feeling it. So we want to play Flames, Flicker, Smoke with B. Simone's commentary on her interview with Nick Cannon. B. Simone, who is also on Nick Cannon's Wildin' Out, was being interviewed, and he was asking her, like, what kind of guy are you looking for? And she was listing off things, and she happened to say, and he can't have a 9 to 5. So she goes on to explain that she's looking for somebody that's into entrepreneurship, somebody that wants to own things, somebody into generational wealth. But it stirred up a lot of controversy online. So you being a black man, I want to know, is it flames, flicker, or smoke to X out, take it off your list, somebody that has a 9 to 5?
Okay, you see, I'm gonna go with flame with this one.
Flame.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely go with flame with this one because I do understand her perspective. Growing up in a household where my dad was a full-time entrepreneur, he never had a 9 to 5. I never see my dad ever in his life clocked in for another person or another company. So I do kind of understand where she's coming from. My mother is a person that works a 9 to 5 and she clocks in. So I definitely see the difference between an entrepreneur, full-time entrepreneur, and someone that's working a 9 to 5. But the reason why I'm going with flame is because I do believe that it's your perspective and it's what you feel.
It's what you want.
Yeah, it's what you want. If a woman knows what she wants, that's a great thing.
I'm going to go with flicker because I feel like, a part of it is what you prefer is what you prefer. That's on your list. That's on your list. I just didn't like how it came across. I think that it's already hard out here in the dating world. So crossing out a 9 to 5 on your list would make anybody just feel helpless and hopeless. I mean, it's like, dang, so girls don't even want to do with a 9 to 5? Like, it's already hard to find somebody. Now you're telling me as a man or a woman, I got a 9 to 5, now I'm not desirable. But I do understand what she was saying. I think the delivery kind of went left. I think she's also just been under fire for a long time. So people kind of just nitpicking at what she's saying. So she gets a flicker because I feel what she was trying to say, but kind of came off the wrong way. With everything going on with us, like every day having to face racial injustices, all the protesting, all the police brutality matters, I always kind of ask myself, I would love to be a fly on the wall in the household of an interracial relationship. So I really want to dive into that today. I want to talk about the little mixy relationships.
Really? That's a very interesting topic at this time, So this should be very interesting. So have you ever dated someone outside your race?
Now you know I'm a free spirit. Y'all know I was born and raised in Wisconsin. So let me tell you, the whole Wisconsin is white. So yes, I have dated a white boy. I was in Minneapolis for a year, and I was like, if I'm gonna live here for a year, I need to live my best life. And I didn't date just like any type of white boy, not a white boy with swag, a white boy that had been around some brothers. This was a full-on theater geek into musical theater, straight, scrawny white boy. I was probably like the first black girl that he dated. And for me, I think the experience was fun. It was an adventure, but it got exhausting after a while. I think in the beginning, it kept me interested because I was having to show him new things. He was having to show me new things. And whenever you're constantly learning, you know, you don't get bored. But after a while, I just want to have a conversation with you. I don't want to have to explain every little thing I'm saying. Like, there are certain things that we say in our text message conversations that is like second nature that I wasn't even thinking about. I would text it or I would say it and he wouldn't understand it. Like, I would agree with something he would say and I'd be like, man, listen. And he'd be like, I'm sorry, what? Listen to what? And I'm like, no, like, it don't mean listen. It mean like, and I'm like,
terms.
Okay. Yeah. So for me, that got exhausting. For other people, they like it, you know, but Have you ever dated outside your race?
Nope. I'm sorry, y'all, nope.
Just a straight no, never? Just never. Only black girls?
Yeah, I think I always fell in love with black girls.
So you never saw somebody outside of your race that you was like, okay, Asian shorty kind of thick, like...
I mean, of course, a Latino, you know, Mexicans, you know, Mexican girls, they be having some sisters' DNA in them. So, you know, for sure, you know, but dating-wise, being in a relationship, all my relationships been sisters, like black girls.
And that was intentional? Like, you don't want to date outside your race?
I don't find it interesting. I don't really, it doesn't drive me. It doesn't really do nothing to me.
Let me take a sip. Okay, let's talk about that. So why would you not date outside of your race? You're sweating, babe.
I am?
Yeah,
maybe I'm nervous about this topic, but part of it has to do with just how I was raised. I love a strong woman. I love black women. I stand for what I believe. And nothing against white people because I'm definitely not a racist person. People can be attractive, you know, Latinos, white, they can be attractive, Asians could be attractive, but dog, like, I just love my black woman. I just like that feeling, you know, I just like that feeling I get from them, that appreciation, that love, that affection.
Do you ever think to yourself, like, maybe I don't know that I like people outside of my race because I never tried it? Like, you love the way black women treat you and you love how black women make you feel, but have you ever thought, like, maybe a white girl could do me right? Maybe an Asian woman would be amazing. Maybe.
You know, it could cross my mind, but then again, I come back to reality. I'll say, nah, it's just not for me, you know? And I think what's for you, it's for you, and what's not, it's not. So
I think I can agree with you when you say it's not for you, because since I was able to actually have the experience, I was able to look back and evaluate why that necessarily wouldn't work for me.
Yeah.
And I think that in general, relationships are already really complicated, and all these different external factors that can come into your relationship just make it a little bit more complicated. So you already have something that's hard to do. Relationships are hard to last. Marriage is hard to last.
Yeah.
And now you're adding on another layer of complications. I think about, you know, what about what will the family say? What if the family doesn't accept you all? What if there's, you know, you're constantly having to battle that, explaining to family members and friendships. I think about down the road with kids and, you know, raising interracial kids and trying to figure out how you want them to be able to maneuver between the two different races. And really what really like solidifies it for me is two things. Like, one, I really want to be a part of adding to the percentage of black families that are successful. I think it's a low percentage and I want to help increase that. How can I do that? Find a black man. The other thing for me is I love one of my love languages is intellectual conversations, hence this podcast. I'm not saying that you cannot have an intellectual conversation with somebody outside of your race, but what I'm saying is that when it comes to talking about our struggles and the things that we have to deal with as Black people, I want to be able to connect with somebody on a level of experience and not of a level of I'm teaching you and you're trying to understand. Yeah. Because I feel like our conversations have been extremely deep because we can identify with each other with what we're going through, and we don't have to take a week to try to explain it. We just live through it, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
So I think that everybody should try, to each its own, but to understand the different layers that come with that. And you have to be ready to deal with that. Like, you have to be ready to deal with people yelling out certain catcalls or certain things, or people not wanting to serve you, or friends having slick things to say. And for me, that's extra stuff on top of something that's already complicated.
I agree.
Do you think it's wrong for people to date outside of their race?
Woo!
Because I know you have some really strong feelings about this.
Once again, y'all, I am not racist. I got to keep saying that.
Whenever he has to say that as a disclaimer, I get scared because that means he about to get real.
It is wrong from my perspective. I don't think it's the right thing to do, but I do understand that it is not a problem. Times has changed, and rules, they adjusted a lot of rules. It has been acceptable in our society. Back in the 60s, 60s slavery days, 50s where,
60s, there was no slavery.
I mean, that's not
civil rights.
Civil rights movement, I would say. We've been through a lot of hell, where Blacks couldn't be with whites. When you go outside or you got to use the restroom, Blacks only, and that kind of affect the culture in a major way. And I think the reason why in our culture, when we see someone outside of race is dating one of us, sisters and brothers, we kind of feel offended because it's hard. It's just a topic that we just gotta.
Finish saying what you were saying. I want to hear you say it. I just know that I'll be saying that same thing.
Okay. I believe that Black and Black should stay together. I truly believe that a Black woman and a Black man should always continue building families and continue building generational, what's the word I'm looking for?
Generational wealth.
Yeah.
Your wine is kicking in.
My wine is actually not kicking in. I just think I'm a little too nervous about this topic because it can be a topic that can offend people in a way where they don't understand my point of view and how I see things, and I gotta be very careful what I say.
You don't though, because it's your podcast and you can say what you want to say.
It is definitely my podcast, but I also want to be mindful for other people's perspective and the way they see things also. And I truly understand the way other people see things, and I do understand that it's fine to date someone outside your race, y'all. But I want to fight for Black love. I want to fight for keeping us together. I want to fight for continue to help each other grow, because we're behind in a lot of things, and a lot of people are pulling away. A lot of people are like saying, you know what? I don't want to do this no more. You know what? I don't want to fight for black love no more. I'm going to go the opposite and find happiness. Well, the reality is you can find happiness within yourself and then within your culture. It's just a lot of teaching that needs to be in our society and in our Black community that we are definitely lacking. You know what I'm saying?
And I don't have a problem with interracial dating, but I will say that it is very difficult for me to watch firsthand my Black friends who are extremely successful, accomplished, wonderful, sexy, beautiful human beings have a difficulty finding a Black man. So when I see a black man with a woman outside of his race, and this has nothing to do with her, but I'm like, man, I know a sister that is really trying to strengthen and create a black family, and what is it that she has that this person doesn't, or what is it that you're looking for? Or there's already such a low percentage of black men. They're putting you guys behind bars and they're killing you guys. And now you're dating white women or Asian women or Latino women. So then our little bunch is so small that I sometimes get scared that the black family will diminish or it will leave. And what really hurts me is, like, even right now, in the middle of all this George Floyd pandemic and the protests, who is at the front line holding it down? Who is at the front line, or who is online posting? Who is really going hard? Black women. Black women are going harder for black men than they are for themselves. And sometimes I wish that same type of love was reciprocated. And I wish that black men could really look and have that love that they see translate for them to be like, that's what I want. That's what I need. There is a type of love that a black woman can give a black man. That is a type of love that I believe nobody else can give you, because we understand what each other needs in moments and times like this. In my mind, I think that when you date outside of your race and you're going through something like we're going through right now, people are trying to figure out what to do if you're not of that race. They're looking, they're searching, they're asking. But a black woman knows what to do because she's feeling this with you, because she's down with you. So it's not that I have an issue with it. It's just that I understand the struggle and I understand how difficult it is, just like around. And sometimes I feel like African American men don't like to be challenged, and I think that black women challenge black men. I don't think that we're hard on them. I just think that we have expectations and that we don't coddle them, and we understand how hard this world is for them, so we keep them prepared so that they never fold. And I think sometimes that can come off as aggression or nitpicky, or always there's something. And what I have seen and heard and research has shown that women that are not black can be more submissive, or whatever this word is, or have lower expectations, or be more gentle. And that's because they don't understand what you're going through. They don't understand how the world views you. They don't understand how you need to be built up to be successful in this world. Sorry, I got into it.
As you should. As you should, because it goes back to the struggle. It goes back to how it is hard for us men, as black men, to stand tall and win this battle, to even be breadwinners, to even be leaders, to even show appreciation or show the world how we treat our women, because we're behind as African American men. It's a struggle from work, trying to get a better job, trying to provide for your kids, and even trying to survive as a black man in America. Man, I mean, it's just bad, but the only way things can get better if we all come together and make a quick turnaround. I know it's not going to be an easy turnaround, but I do believe that there's a certain amount of percentage of black men that do love their sisters, that have a lot of knowledge, that are in position that can change the world. But I do feel like these men need to come together and teach the guys that they see that are lost, and uplift their spirit, and be their mentors, and guide them to the right direction, because a lot of black men are lost, and a part of it has to do with the system. The system was built to kind of like put us down for so long. And the ones that finally understand, that finally sees the bigger picture, they woke, they know how to remove the system. They understand how to do it. So let me ask you this.
I kind of went into it, but I would love to hear your perspective. This is my last question before we wrap.
Yeah.
Why do you think that people date outside of their race? And this is just a general question. Some people would be like, how's that even a question? You fall in love with who you fall in love with. You can say that too, but I'm going to ask you, Nate.
Wow.
Why do you think that people date outside their race?
I'm gonna be real 100 with you. I think some wants to experience. You got a percentage of people that just want to. I want to see. I want to figure it out. I want to test this out real quick. And then you got another percentage that's like, I'm tired. I'm done. Brothers, they are the same. They can't just figure it out.
Okay, so one, you're saying experience.
Mm-hmm.
Two is just like
disappointment.
Of people within their race.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, I truly believe that.
Any more?
I don't want to sound bad. I don't want to put my peoples down because I love y'all. I think higher position, the higher position where I would say outside race people like let's say white or let's say European or Hispanic people, they can be in a better position than the black brothers because they got opportunities to get more money, more opportunities.
Very interesting.
You know what I'm saying? So I
Why
would
do you
fight
think
back.
that dating outside of your race equates to being better off financially?
Well, I think the sisters, I'm not speaking for our sisters, but there's a percentage
That's
of
horrible.
sisters.
So you think that black women,
I'm not
in
saying
certain
all. I'm not
in
saying
certain
all.
situations, you think that some black women are dating outside of their race because of financial gain.
Yeah.
Do you think the same for black men?
Yeah, I do.
So you think black men sometimes date outside of their race for financial gain?
I think that's a weak move. I'm gonna be real with you. I think that's a sucker move. For a brother to go leave.
But that's interesting that you say that because a lot of times we see successful black men dating outside of their race and they have money. We see like the rappers, we see like the NBA players. So I wouldn't necessarily say they date outside their race to gain.
I'm sorry to cut you.
Financially gain because they are the bonus. They are the money.
I'm sorry to cut you. That's because they're afraid of strength. They're afraid of a strong woman. They're afraid of a woman that's gonna tell them what to do with their money, or they're afraid of a woman that's gonna uplift them to the right
opinions on tonight.
To the right directions. You know what I'm saying? Because most dudes that date outside, not all, but if you can find a couple of people that date outside of race, and then you look at their careers or how they move, how they make things, they're not making certain right decisions, and a part of it has to do is because they don't have the right strong woman by their side.
And so you think the only strong women in the world are black women?